Welcome everyone to this year's ISSBA presidential debate. The following 5 people are your candidates for president and vice president positions in the 2019-2020 ISSBA Council. So the following candidates are Kirtana.
Let's go!
Norbu.
Let's go!
Lauren.
Let's go!
Martin.
Let's go!
And Brian.
Woo!
Okay, today's debate will include 5 questions taken from a survey submitted to the high school student body. But due to time constraints, each question will be directed at only 3 of the candidates, and the order in which they will answer will be announced. After this first planned section of the debate, we will open the floor to questions from the audience, which will go on to the end of lunch. With that, let's begin the debate. Candidates, when a question is asked, you will have 30 seconds to think before the first candidate must begin his or her answer. You will have a maximum of 1 minute to give your answer. At 45 seconds, we will hit the table once so that you can have a chance to wrap up appropriately. However, do not feel the need to occupy the entire allocated time. With that in mind, let's begin. The first question goes to Kirtana, Norbu, and Lauren in that order. The question is, what is the biggest issue facing our high school, and how will your approach towards fixing it be different from previous councils? 30 seconds.
It's all about everybody knows everybody, but you're up against
Aldrin, go.
I'll go Aldous.
Thanks.
Let's go.
Aldrin. Yeah? Okay. I think it's interconnectivity and communication, because I feel like while we have a lot of events where it's either you're representing your advisory or your grade level, we don't have a lot where you're just like competing as Bearcats. So I feel like we should have more events where you're able to just have fun, especially with this next year being ISM's 100th. And communication, because I think we need to get better at having or actually seeing what the student body thinks about different things like the assessment schedule. So more ways to actually get to know what students feel like needs to be improved.
Who's next?
Do I go? Okay. I think I agree. Most of it is about the togetherness of our school overall, because there's many events like in assemblies where we might get to compete as like grades, and it's more about fun and working grade level versus grade level rather than as a whole school, and rather than like just doing games or something. I think that a better approach would be to go through service and maybe plan more of like student-wide Saturday services where many grade levels will come and interact, kind of like a miniature kind of eye care, but every weekend.
I also think that a major problem is communication between the student body and administration, and so I think that advocating concerns is really important, and I have some ideas that I think we could implement next year in regards to that. And I also think that our school spirit is pretty good, and so next year I think it would be mainly to improve that since it's our centennial. So I have some ideas on improving Bob as well, and that's how I think my approach is different.
Okay, next question goes to Martin G, Brian Pomero, and Kirtana Latua in that order. Question is, how do you think people perceive you?
30 seconds. Let's go. How do you think people perceive you? I'm gonna make it I don't think.
I think people definitely perceive me as someone who is not with the mainstream of students at ISM, because I don't interact with other human beings
as often as others do. And I think because of that, there's a kind of mystique surrounding me. Like, there's people who think I'm smart, there's people who think I can do things, when in reality, all I do is procrastinate. I don't really get much done. And sometimes, and in that way, I just want to say that I come out here to clear up a lot of misconceptions about myself, and in doing so, show that I am, in fact, ready to take on this position.
It's right.
To be honest, if anybody's listening right now, I think you shouldn't be worried about what other people think of you. Let's not be concerned about what other people think of us. It's just gonna drag us down. Let's focus on developing positive opinions of our own selves. Let's focus on what we think about our own personalities. Like, I want to feel good about my life. I'm not worried about what other people think, and I think you should too.
Okay, I agree with Brian, but also I think people perceive me as dependable and versatile. The first one because I think people and my friends know they can come to me when they need advice or if they're just feeling down. And the second one because I feel like I can cater to what the situation is like. For example, if I need to take on a leadership role and make a decision, be critical, I will, but I'll also be like the weirdest person you met only a few minutes later.
Okay, next question goes to Norbu, Lauren, and Martin in that order. The question is, what is your biggest weakness relevant to the position you are running for?
I think my biggest weakness would be kind of like what we're doing right now, which is like talking in front of a big crowd. But I think that I can overcome this really easily because this is one of the reasons like you can join ISSBA and become better. You know, you can become a better person and develop your abilities, and that's like one of the main reasons that I want to join because my public speaking is something that I want to work on, and through ISSBA I'll only become better.
In my opinion, I think that my greatest weakness can also be my greatest strength. So that's the fact that I'm not 100% a leader, but at the same time, I'm also a doer. And I think that can be a weakness for ISSBA, but at the same time, it can be a strength because I know that ISSBA plays such a huge role in behind-the-scenes things in ISM, and so being a doer while also being a leader is equally important in my opinion.
My biggest weakness of all time is the fact that I am very, very angsty as a human being. I have always been experiencing angst since I was 4. I realized that when I was 4, I realized that one day my mother was going to die. And nowadays, I just experience angst for all the wrong reasons. For example, last week in band class, Mr. Nazareno burped, and that made me look around the band classroom at all my classmates and realize that one day we were all going to die. And this sort of existential angst is what allows me to represent other people better because I am essentially the pinnacle of angstiness, of teenage hormonal problems. And in that way, I can represent all of you like none other.
Okay, our next question will go to Ryan, Kirthana, and Norbu in that order. The question is, how would you promote inclusivity in our high school?
I get 30 seconds, right?
Inclusivity. It's like a word that we hear every year. we're told that we need to be more inclusive, and it's something that we're reminded during assemblies, during Saturday services, when we're running for council, and it seems like this really big and daunting thing that takes something important and really big in order to do. However, inclusivity starts with the small things. It starts by welcoming people. It starts by telling people to run for ISSBA, like Kirthana. It starts by welcoming them into the places that they weren't originally welcomed. So I think inclusivity may sound like a big and daunting challenge, but it's all defined by the little things that we do.
I think it's important to realize that you lead by example. So I feel like it's really clear when you look at the canteen to know where the seniors sit, where the freshmen sit, where the juniors sit, and you can see like the divisions within the canteen. So I feel like a lot of the time people feel awkward or scared to go around and talk to different grade levels, but this is something that we need to feel more comfortable doing. And if you've met me, you know that I'm just like always walking around and like I'll talk to you wherever you are. And I feel like that's something that needs to come from the upperclassmen, so underclassmen feel more comfortable doing that, and you're able to build a more inclusive community.
To direct it more back to the question a little bit about like what we would do to promote inclusivity, I think that the biggest thing that we can do is really just try and mix up all the grades no matter what we're doing. So Saturday services, events and assembly, rather than just doing everything by grade level, like kind of like what's done right now in assemblies. Like all competitions are done by grade levels. It'd be better to like mix it up and make sure that new people can interact with new people and create better connections.
Alright, our last question will go to Lauren, Martin, and Brian in that order. The question is, what are your top 3 priorities for this year and why?
So first of all, I'd like to improve the communication between the administration and the student body, because that's one of the main goals of ISSBA, and I think that we can achieve this through like a ballot box in the HS office, for example, because people are more incentivized to put their concerns and advocate them, especially if it's right in the HS office rather than having like a Google form. I also think maintaining school spirit's really important. So to make Bob special next year, I know that we have funds and I know that we can put them into equipment and to improve the events and to improve the spirit of Bob. And then finally, I think it's just making ISM Centennial even more special, which is next year. So.
Okay, my first priority is, as everyone else's, is survival, both in IB and in personal life, because IB is a very challenging thing. School itself is extremely challenging, and to stay alive is, I think, the best goal that you can strive to achieve. And I think helping other people survive and get through IB will also be included in that as well. And my second priority is, of course, to make sure that my schedule, that everything academic is on point, because there's a lot of stuff going on, exams, etc., and all that stuff needs to be done. And my third priority is mainly, I am talking very slowly to accentuate a point that does not exist. I will now be talking very loudly to make it seem like I have a point, but I do not. Thank you.
My 3 priorities are all the same. It's focusing on being happy and appreciating myself. Thank you.
Okay, that now brings us to the end of our planned question section. Now, members of the audience may ask any questions that they have. Once a question is asked, I will pick on candidates who raise their hands ready with an answer. Questions can also be asked to specific individuals, but due to time constraints, only 2 candidates will be allowed to answer each question. Now, does anyone in the audience have any questions for our candidates? Just raise your hands and we will direct the mic towards you.
No one will ask questions. No one's gonna ask.
Okay.
Is anyone gonna ask a question?
Guys, come on.
Ask a question.
Pulling out the alpha.
If you could choose a superpower, what would it be? Did you hear that?
Yes.
Wait, I have a different question.
Oh.
What's your favorite meme?
Answer just raise your hands. I'll pick 2.
Come on, I have.
It's kind of
Brian and anyone else is after that?
Can you sing a One Direction song?
Can we all do it together?
Yeah.
Acapella.
Okay, wait. What's up?
Wait. Are you gonna answer the first one? Well, let's do the acapella first.
Yeah, let's
Okay. Wait, which
Oh,
one?
who's going first?
That's what makes you beautiful.
Yo, song request. Which one?
That's what makes you beautiful.
Okay.
Wait,
Color.
all of us can do it one by one.
No, all of us are singing.
Yeah.
Inclusivity, we're all singing.
Yeah.
I don't know the lyrics.
Yeah.
How does it
You're
sound?
insecure. Don't know what
Okay,
you're-
wait, all of us, okay.
Wait, done.
Dun, dun, dun,
You're insecure.
don't know what's going.
Certain heads when you walk into
Through the door.
don't need makeup to cover up. Being the way that you are. Okay, that's enough.
Okay, we're good.
Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize to everyone for that, but we love One Direction.
Okay, any other questions from the audience? Anyone else can ask any questions to our candidates.
Also, my favorite meme currently is the Winnie the Pooh meme that's like increasingly verbose. It's like the expanding brain meme, but it's now like Winnie the Pooh, so it's like more niche. Please ask a question. I don't want to sit here till the end of lunch doing nothing. Please! Okay, Martin says we should ask each other questions.
Oh, wait,
Okay, teachers can also ask questions.
Mr.
to our
Rich.
candidates. So right now, Mr. Rich has a question to ask.
Yeah, could I ask you guys, 2 of you guys, to talk about what you think the biggest problems facing students at ISM currently are?
We answered that. We answered that.
Is that one of the questions?
That was one of the
Yeah,
questions.
we were the first question.
That was one of the questions. That was like the first one.
We don't sleep.
So, voting for you, so a lot of you guys kind of have the same stuff to say so far. So what makes you in particular worth the time it's going to take out of our day to vote and sets you apart from all the other candidates? This is Brian and anyone else.
Brian and anyone else.
Oh, Brian. Who's the second one? Who wants to answer?
Martin.
Brian and Martin.
Okay, Kirthana, my running mate, and I will answer this together. The question was, what sets us apart from the other candidates? I mean, we all like want to do the same things, but what sets us apart
is we'll actually get it done together.
Okay, and what sets me apart from all these other people is that comparatively I am crazy. And because when I was very young, we moved around a lot, which traumatized me and led me to have no friends, okay? So normal people have social interactions with other people, so they have a limiter that makes what's socially acceptable their actions. Okay, their actions are controlled. But me, I have had no friends since like 4th grade. So that means that I have no limiter. I will do whatever I want to do. Okay, so I will be a person who goes here when other people are clearly in the socially acceptable range. And that's what sets me apart. I am crazy, and that is why you should vote for me.